Yo, why haven't you left your home country yet? I know you've been thinking about it because chances are, if you're watching this video, you probably have this idea in mind like, what if I left my hometown to move abroad and live in my dream destination? And I wanted to make this video to encourage you guys because I left my home country about what? I would say almost 10 years ago. And it's been one of the best decisions that I ever made. And I wished I would have found a video like this when I was in my early 20s, when I was originally making this decision for the first time. Because one, I feel like it could have saved me so much time. Two, I felt like there was a crossroads in my life in which I wouldn't have made this decision and my life would have been totally different. And I kind of wanted just to like give you guys just this talk about the potential opportunities that exist outside of wherever your home country. I'm presuming if you're watching this video, you're in the United States or Europe, because that's where majority of my audience is at. And I wanted to like give you my perspective of what it's been like living abroad for the last 10 years and how much it shaped and changed me. So I remember when I was 20 years old and I was in my second to last semester in college. And up until then, when I first joined university, I had this dream to study abroad. But just like many university students, it was a dream and I never did it. So I kind of let semester after semester fly by until I had literally a semester and a half left to make this decision. And I still vaguely remember this day. I was on my way to do God knows what, but in between my destination and where I was coming from was the Global Opportunities Office. And I was like, you know what? I got a little bit of free time. Let me just walk in and see what they got. It turns out when I walked in, they was really excited to see me because I only had like a week left to apply, as they explained to me. So I had to take action fast. And that was one of the first times I was confronted with this idea of if you don't make this decision, this window is going to close and you're going to never have this opportunity again. So I remember talking to them and they're like, yo, like we have all these options for you. They wanted to get to know me a little bit more. At the time, I think I was studying French. So I had this dream of like going to, France one day and like living in Paris. So I'm like, yo, do you guys got that for me? And they were like, nah, man, you're not a part of that program. So I remember they were like, yo, we do have this like these packages for people, for like any student really. And they showed me these two options that they still had left. One was for like Singapore and the other one was for Hong Kong. And I remember how my eyes lit up when I first saw that Singapore package because I knew about Singapore. I saw it on the internet. I saw how pristine, clean, and beautiful it was. And I'm like, yo, I can't wait to live in Singapore. Man, that'll be like so awesome. So I'm like, yo, how much is this going to cost me? And they're like, more than you can afford. And I was a little bit devastated. I was like, whoa. They was like, whoa, wait. We do have Hong Kong for you. And I was like, okay, Hong Kong. I don't really know much about it. I mean, I seen Rush Hour 2. I guess I'm excited. I mean, yo, it's totally different than where I'm coming from. So why not? And they showed me the package and it turns out it was actually really affordable. Hong Kong at the time was so shockingly affordable for me to study in. It was actually cheaper than me just attending another semester at the university I was currently in, even if you factor in the plane ticket and all the costs it was to live abroad. And that was a big step for me. Like I had to make this decision within a week's time. So I remember gathering all this paper, the documents, and without fully thinking it through, I just signed it. And when I look back at it, that was such a powerful lesson for me because I think so many people get caught in the stagnation phase of whether they're not going to make this decision. It's this contemplation, this pre-contemplation phase that stops us from taking action. And that whim that I took is something that I always tell people when they want to study abroad, live abroad, or hell, even go to a foreign country as a tourist for the first time. Like, yo, just buy the plane ticket and I promise you're going to figure everything else out. I can't describe how much of a big jump this was for me. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, it's going to be one for you as well. Like to give you more context, man, I grew up in like Cleveland, Ohio. My parents never really had the money to take us traveling anywhere. So I barely left the state. Like I never left Ohio except for one time when I went to like DC for a business trip. But besides that, my entire world was Cleveland and that's all I knew. So for me to sign up to go to Hong Kong all the way across the world was a completely new experience for me. But I tell you this, it was one of the most important decisions I ever made in my life because it taught me how to embrace the unknown. And if I can give any advice to anybody in their 20s, one of the key things that I think that you can learn to do that will make you a better person and improve your character is learning how to embrace the unknown. You'll be so surprised at how much of your fears are irrational and are just these these ideas that we just expand in our head to make it feel like they're bigger monsters than what they actually are. Living abroad, I mean, it's as easy as hopping on the plane and just going. I mean, it's not as hard as you guys think. I don't know how else to describe it, but getting over that mental barrier was absolutely important for me. And I'm sure it's going to be important for you as well. Because if it wasn't for that decision for me to study abroad in Hong Kong, for me to take that leap of faith, I wouldn't have made the decisions that I later made in my 20s, which was move to Tokyo. I mean, I've been here for like almost 10 years at this point. I've had the pleasure of traveling around all over Asia. I've saw so many different cultures. I've gone out of my comfort zone so many times that it gave me a sense of reassurance and confidence that I can go anywhere in the world and I'm good. And I'm completely good. And I'm so happy that I made that decision. I think about what my life could have been if I never made that decision. And it makes me imagine what my friends must feel, because I try to encourage my friends to do the same thing. But unfortunately, when they were 20 years old, they graduated school, they decide to go down the conventional life path. And I salute them for that, because everybody's path is different and valid. But one of the things that I feel like you miss out on if you decide to go down the traditional route is that you never know what it's like to carve a life under your own terms and also under your own values in such an unusual way. Because when life is like planned out for you, people make decisions on your behalf. And the success that many of these people got, I would kind of argue, is a gift and a curse. On one hand, if you go down a traditional route, you may get that good paying job, you get that car, you get that apartment, but each of those things that you accumulate starts becoming this walled garden that you establish over time. First, you get that car, then you get that apartment, then you get that pet, then you get that girlfriend or boyfriend. And now all of a sudden, this dream that you had, you feel stuck to this life that you assigned yourself to, and you can't easily unravel it. So now this idea of like, y'all want to travel one day becomes only just that, an idea. And I don't want to like paint it as if you can't do it even with those things, but you have to have the right mindset. You have to be willing to let things go. In many ways, and I remember this saying, in order for you to embrace your new life, in many ways, you have to get rid of your old one. And that mindset and that decision I had to make as well. I remember when I was 20 years old, I was dating somebody at the time. I had my friends, I had my life that I already established. I had a career going after I graduated university. I had my own business, and I was stuck between these two crossroads. And so I talked to my mentor. I was like, yo, my ultimate dream is to start a business one day. But also, since I went to Hong Kong, I also have this burning desire to see more of the world. I just don't want to be in Cleveland. He was like, look, you can start a business at any time of your life. But this moment that you have right now where you don't really have that much responsibilities compared to most adults, you can really shape your life exactly how you want it and see the world the likes of which that others can't who went down that traditional path. And I would have went down that same path as well if I would have started to like really invest in my career instead of me seeing what this other side of the world is and what it could possibly bring me. And it was hard because I did have to make sacrifices. This decision to move abroad did come at a cost for me, but it was ultimately a cost that I'm grateful that I paid. And yeah, sometimes I wonder if I would have stayed in Cleveland, where would my career be? How would my life have turned out? But I'm happy because I made this decision. Because right now, I've been living in Tokyo for about 9 years now. I'm a software engineer. And yeah, I live in downtown Tokyo. My life is great. I never thought when I first went on that plane, originally in Hong Kong, that it would change to me one day moving to Tokyo. And even when I moved to Tokyo, or Japan rather, 'cause I wasn't in Japan. I wasn't in Tokyo at first when I moved to Japan. I never thought that I would go from being an English teacher and then developing a real legitimate career here to become a software engineer at one of the highest paying companies here. It's been such an incredible journey, and it's been a journey that helped define me. And one of the things I want to cover, I think Carl Jung has this principle about individuation. In order to become who you are or become who you need to be, you need to essentially separate yourself from where you're from and the environment that shaped and grew you so you can go out into the real world and define that for yourself. This sense of identity, this core identity that I've established over time is largely influenced by all of these factors of me living abroad. I mean, living abroad is chaotic. I have to be honest. You meet so many people from around the world and you have this cultural friction at times. And also you have these cultural experiences that are really fun, but it forces you to confront so many different things about yourself. the fear of the unknown, the fact that you're so far away from home that you experience homesickness. And also, you have to understand and interpret what these other people cultures are like and how you need to interact with it in order for you to get by. It gives you this holistic view of the world. Now I'm sitting here, 30 years old, living abroad collectively for about 10 years now. And it's crazy because I talk to my friends about this. I think I can move anywhere in the world and consider it home, because home is no longer a place of where I'm from. It's a place that I go to. It's a place that I can reside in, and that can be literally anywhere in the world. When I was living in Cleveland my whole entire life, I thought Cleveland was my world. I thought maybe me moving to New York was something that's like this big dream that's out of this world for me to achieve. But now that seems so small, because whether it's Cleveland, whether it's New York, whether it's Tokyo, London, doesn't matter. I know that I can go anywhere I can in the world. And yeah, I know this talk isn't like the most pragmatic of things to say, because I'm not necessarily giving you advice on how to do it, although there are options. And I want to tell you that it's easier than you think, whether you're signed up for like a work holiday visa. Check that out if you want to live abroad, because so many countries have deals with other countries where you can get a work holiday visa for 1 or 2 years and just move there. You can go to another country as a student. If you're from an English speaking country, you could become an English teacher and teach all over the world without any qualifications besides a college degree, if even that. Like, look into it. Like YouTube, Reddit, and like other social media sites have been such a phenomenal resource, and I swear it can unlock it within you. And the thing that I want to like remind you, just like I said earlier in the video, it really all starts with that leap of faith. Because I was that decision that I made when I was 20 years old, it low key kind of started off as a whim. And I think sometimes that's what you need. We overthink ourselves to the point that we overcomplicate these decisions, and we turn it into like this situation where everything has to be perfect before you take action, when really you take action and then you just figure things out along the way. And those ideas have been the driving force in my life. And I've met other people who share those exact same ideas while living abroad. And what's so amazing is that when you live abroad, you meet so many people who share these exact same values of you. People who believe that you can go anywhere in the world, that you can explore the world and discover yourself through it. The fact that I have so many friends who tell me, yo, I'm gonna go backpacking, I'm gonna go traveling, I'm gonna move to this city, and they actually do it. That's such a common thing in my life when I meet people who tell me, yo, I'm about to go travel the world, or I'm moving to this new country. But if I would have went back home, like, anybody who ever says that back home almost certainly won't do it. And that's the unfortunate side effect. You know what's so interesting about living abroad as well? And this is like one of the downsides, and this is one of the costs that I think you're going to pay if you do decide to make this decision. You're going to start building this life and this perspective that nobody else can understand. Like, when I come back home and I share the stories of me living abroad, it almost feels like I'm telling fiction to people back home that I love. And it feels weird, because I have this entire life that exists that is completely removed from the context of their life. So I'm not exactly sure how can they relate. It's weird to see, because home no longer feels the same when you live abroad. I remember reading this quote, and it's one that stuck to me for years at this point, which is, no man can dip their feet in the same river twice. And I think that sums up my life every time I visit home, because even if I hop on that plane and I go back to Cleveland and I drive down those same streets, those streets aren't the same. Even if I see my old friends, my friends aren't the same. They have grown up. They have went to a different stage of their life. Like, things are slightly different. The time that we spent together, as a result, we end up growing apart. And although I can come back to these old spaces, it's never really the same place. And that's one of the costs that I experienced by being here for so long. And it's been something, if I had to say it nicely, poetic, but it's also something that you come to accept, and you have to like process as well, which is, the more you stay abroad, the more that you become disconnected from that life that you once had. And maybe that's important, because I feel like in order for you to become the person that you're supposed to be, you have to go on that journey. You have to go discover yourself, and hopefully, and maybe it's not for everybody, you come back home with those new tools, life lessons and information, and then you bring that to your community if you ever do decide to come back. And for those other people that choose to leave and then stay wherever place that they go, I hope that you found that life that was meant for you, because if you are fortunate enough to have this opportunity to experience the world, to go anywhere, I think you should take it, because there's so much value in discovering all that the world has to offer and how it can shape and redefine who you are as a person. One of the key lessons that I've learned in this whole experience is to embrace the unknown, to face fear, and to take chances, because there's so much reward when you're willing to take certain risks that it makes life feel much more meaningful. It's a richer experience. And I don't know, even at the age of 30, I know I'm starting to become more conventionally minded as I settle down. I still always have that spark within me. And I want to communicate that exact same energy to the people around me, my loved ones. If I ever start a family one day, I want to encourage people to go out there and to see the world for themselves. Because if you're from the US like me, I'll tell you, the US isn't like the best place on the planet. There's so many different places out there. There's so many different flavors in this world that I don't think any country is the best in the world. I just think there's different places that are the best for you. And I want to tell people, like, go find that place that's the best for you. So yeah, if you're watching this video, this has been my loose talk on why I believe that you should leave your home country if you do have that opportunity. In fact, let me correct myself. Many of you guys can absolutely make that opportunity and create that opportunity for yourself. I believe that you should take it. Don't let fear define your life when you can find that meaning for yourself. Anyways, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.